Hey guys, we've got the founder of Embellishr with no ER. It's Embellishr. This is Nikki. 3 years ago, she wanted to make the selling and buying of used screen printing equipment a lot easier and a lot more transparent. And she's done that. She's executed on it. She's scaled this business. And it's really cool to hear what happens behind the scenes. And that's what we're talking about. We're also talking about the pros and cons of buying used equipment. We've got Steven on one side. We've got Nicole sharing her thoughts on the other. And I like this. This was a fun discussion. And I had no idea all the things going on behind the scenes at Embellishr. So join on in this episode right after we share a couple of different partners that help us put the show on every single week. First up, Stalls. If you are ready to take your custom apparel to the next level, Stalls is the leader in heat printing solutions. You could save 20% on your next DTF order just by going to the website and ordering with the code HUSTLER20. You can get equipment, transfers, and support for your business to stay smart and stay ahead. Visit stalls.com today and know that every job will be a success. Multicraft_daddy. If you need ink supplies or a daddy, Multicraft screen printing and digital supplies have been around for 50 years. And you guys know the drill. He's sending gifts out every single week. Not only is he making an incredibly entertaining Instagram, but if you go to his Instagram and DM him your email address, he's sending out a bunch of gifts like PMI tape every single week. Multicraft has been around. If you mention the Printavo pod, you receive an extra 10% off your first order. Easy Way. All right. easyway.com/giveaway. They are giving away $250 in product credit every single month. This is a no-brainer. Take 2 seconds, put your email in, and get a chance to win that $250 in product credit. Easy Way is making reclaiming screens a whole lot easier with their chemicals and equipment. Thank you, Easy Way. And GraphX Source. If you need a solution to help improve efficiency and reduce costs in your art department, GraphX Source offers industry-leading outsourcing options for your shop by truly becoming a part of your team. They plug and play with Printavo and other shop management softwares. And so when you are handling SEPs, mockups, creative art, order management, digitizing, back office admin, customer service, bunch of different stuff. They've been doing it for over 40 years. They'll be able to help you be able to succeed. GraphX Source, thank you guys, and let's jump on in.
So post-trade show, we just came off Long Beach. Things have been nuts.
Yeah, nuts, like gangbusters, which is great. I love seeing that for the industry. I love seeing the momentum kind of shifting over the last year. The way that I've seen the industry was a little bit kind of touch and go. You know, DTF came into the picture. Embellishment has kind of shifted in different arenas. And the way we're coming off of Printing United in October to ISS now, I'm seeing a huge resurgence in just screen printing, analog screen printing. And I love seeing that. So yeah, it's been going great.
Nicole has one of the best booths, I think, at Long Beach. I don't know if you've seen it, Steven, but it's like really well designed. It's like, this probably isn't 4 impressions. Normally they're a little bit more boring.
I mean, it's so boring, right? I mean, listen, it's not that boring, but used equipment can be. And I got to do something to get you to say, hey, what is this?
It pops. I think yours and PMI tape's probably the best. Like outside of apparel, like obviously apparel has tons of money to spend. They've got the most beautiful like AS and Stanley and Stella's and
yeah, I mean the apparel, the blanks are so great. I wish I had their money, but it's of course.
Stanley and Stella had like a 200-inch like screen. That was nuts.
It was
they came
so
swinging.
beautiful. Their booth was gorgeous. I loved their concrete, like faux concrete they did. Oh my gosh.
That was like the coming out party for it seemed like.
Well, the booth itself, you know, that kind of booth, probably $65,000 to $75,000 just to reserve that little area. Then add your booth on there. I mean,
and you got to work with all the unions and everything. You're probably talking $500,000 easily plus.
At least. I mean, these manufacturers that show up with their equipment, you're still the electrical, the unions, like you're saying, it is a huge investment for everybody to be at trade shows.
Bruce was making fun of all the other software companies because all of their booths look like early Printavo booths. So I'll rag Bruce out for a second. He's like, "Hey, that looks like a early Printavo booth."
It was like the exact same light blue color, and like, sure, it's light blue, whatever, but it was like the exact same shade. It's like shop manager on the top and a screenshot on the bottom.
They got to have inspiration from somewhere, right?
I guess
that's
so.
a compliment to you.
I was like, I don't know, just pick a random color. I don't think it really matters, but it was someone said, "Hey, make it look just like this to a designer," and that's what they did.
It was our what, Bruce? I think we said 9th Long Beach, 9 years, which is kind of nuts. Yeah, and so I think maybe like Nikki, you run Embellishr, used equipment sales, and you've really like made a name for yourself over the last couple of years. When you walk the trade show, I'm just curious, how different does it look now than maybe 4 or 5 years ago?
I mean, I was working the trade show in 2010 with Ryanette, so I've been at these trade shows for years and years, and it's more experience kind of oriented, I would say, than what it used to be. It used to just be a ton of salespeople kind of in your face. And I do find that more and more companies are trying to come to the table with something different to engage people with. So I find that to be kind of unique and interesting. Past that, it's gimmicky right now. That's the way I've been seeing it. There's a lot of gimmicks out there in the show arena. And I do find it to be kind of like I'm seeing a little bit of a switch over from that traditional kind of way that the industry has been for so many years, and the leadership that has been in the industry for so many years starts seemingly starting to shift into kind of a younger generation. So that's interesting to kind of watch.
Bruce, what about you? What are your big, like 8 or 9 years ago to walking the show floor now? What are you noticing?
Well, I think we said this together when we were walking, but obviously one is the equipment shift or types of equipment shift. Definitely screen printing is still there, and most of the manufacturers are there other than a couple that have merged. There's no secret that DTF is here in a huge piece, like DTF printers galore, and not just from brands that maybe, call it the big five or whatever brands. It's a lot of brands and stuff that maybe, Stephen, you've heard of some of them or most of them, but there's a lot of overseas companies that are there that I think are figuring out that this is a huge market. And I'm not so sure they haven't dialed in like their presence. Like there's a lot of the Chinese companies that people are buying direct from that haven't quite figured out like how to market in a way that competes really well and gives people a good feeling that I'm working with someone. Well, but they're showing up, and my guess is that they do figure that out. It's very easy to say, "Oh, okay, they got that booth. Let's get this materials. Let's have this backup. Let's look like this," and so on. To really go head to head with some of the bigger guys. What do you think, Stephen?
I noticed that the large equipment, like the Rock and M&R booths, have definitely scaled down a little bit, right? Like they're not bringing their massive Polarises and digital squeegees and hybrids and all that stuff. So like smaller. And then the other thing I noticed is a lot of Asian companies like taking a main stage, and a lot of their sales reps coming directly from Asia. Like I was like, whoa, like I've never heard of that company before or that company before. A lot of them are selling the same thing, DTF printers, DTF cutters, but definitely felt more international this year, I think.
I would agree with you in just a vendor aspect of meeting the booths around us as well, and just kind of seeing their growth over the last year, going from maybe a 10 by 10 to a 10 by 20 to a 20 by 50 booth, just in different trade shows. We're watching some of those vendors grow right before our eyes. So that's really interesting and unique. And that's definitely not something that, 2010 and 10 years ago, I was more of the DTG age, right? And so it's kind of like reminiscent of when DTG was coming out, and, all the manufacturers being really excited about that. But like you're saying, you are seeing a lot more international presence. And even at Embellishr, we're seeing a lot more international presence on our site. I mean, we're exporting equipment, which I didn't anticipate 2 years ago or a year and a half ago, or, so that's been definitely a different kind of landscape in the market.
What do you mean by exporting equipment? Like you're sending it, you've got customers overseas as well?
Yeah. Yeah. I've got customers in Australia, Saudi Arabia, the Caribbean, Canada, you name it, Sweden, Italy, buying from the United States and buying pre-owned premium equipment that we're servicing. We're creating up with ISMP-15 heat treated wood so it can export properly and meet custom standards and get it over to them. And it's been a really interesting, just kind of organic thing for us. It's not something we advertised, hey, come to Embellishr and we'll ship it to Ireland. But we have customers that are in our inbox that go to our website and request a quote, and they're not from the US. And so we do our best to try and work with them and export what we can if they'd like. So that has been something that's unique.
Okay, so let's talk a little about used equipment. Embellishr has a beautiful website, and it's really easy to look at, and it's simple. Beyond that is like Digitsmith, which I don't know if that still runs.
Is that still a thing?
I mean, I'm on it. I think I kind of like own it. Not really. I'm on there every day. We post to it every day. So there's so much inventory, and it's Embellishr inventory. So I'm just kind of like, come over to Embellishr.
You're a great community member of Digitsmith. I don't even know. We should figure out who owns it. Like, what's the story of Digitsmith?
I know some stories.
I mean, it's like a Craigslist. It's so lame. The website is,
but it's been around for 20 plus years.
It's a namesake, right? And there's something about it, and there's something about people being able to just go and do their own resale, sell independently, and some people like to do that, and I totally get it. And it's something that Embellishr is currently in the works to help progress that somewhat classifieds feature.
Oh yeah, I don't know if you see the website, Stephen, but like a lot of the posts are verified member Embellishr, or other members too. But like this is an updated website, Stephen. They're not.
This is super cool. Yeah. So okay, there is definitely a resurgence, or I feel or notice in used equipment sales right now, whether it's in the Facebook groups, on your website. Why is that happening? Can we talk about like the what are you noticing in the industry? First of all, is that theory correct that there is a lot of used equipment for sale right now? And I'm just curious to talk about why that's happening. Why are people selling equipment right now?
There's a lot of different kind of planes going on at the same time in the industry. But what I would say is used equipment is very sustainable. And when you're looking at an economy or your business or your startup or your growth expansion, whatever it is right now, it might feel cumbersome. There might be areas where it's becoming more savvy to shift your resources over to pre-owned. And so what we're seeing is a lot more people that are becoming more aware of the services per se that we have wrapped around that pre-owned equipment that really kind of enhance the overall ROI that you're going to get, and kind of why you would want, instead of maybe going new, to be able to purchase the same exact thing and go used and feel supported and utilize that extra dollar amount somewhere else in your production. So not only is it sustainable, but I would say that there's been a shift in the industry, like we were talking about with DTF in the last year. We've seen a lot of people where, we're probably going to shut down screen printing. About a year ago, that was a lot of the rhetoric that we were hearing on through our inbox and our appraisals. And it was, hey, we've decided we're shifting over to DTF. It's just a more economical decoration method for us. In about the last few months, a lot of those same people that said that they were shifting, or they have sold through us, or they sold their own equipment, are also kind of back in our inbox saying, hey, I actually want to get back into screen printing. So I do find that a very interesting kind of moment where we sold equipment for a customer less than a year ago, and a year later, they're jumping right back into the same thing. Yeah.
Bruce, why do you think people sell equipment, or why do you feel like it's more upgrades? Like, I want to upgrade, or is it I want to get out of it, or is it like I need to clear debt, or like?
I think to Nikki's point, there are a lot of factors happening, right? We all went through the bullwhip effect of COVID. So much money in the market and liquidity in the market that propped everything up, and then everything cooled off very quickly, and then everything picked back up a little bit, and then I think this is the past of last year, half of last year, and now this year is starting to even out. Like, we're in an even playing field to build off of. Interest rates have been the way they are for, 3-ish years. And so everyone's adjusted to what the cost of things are. Because at first it was like a shocker, right? It was like the costs were increasing so quickly between lending and financing things, plus the actual raw costs of buying things. And all of that seems to have like, we digested it. And so now it's like, okay, where do I build from here? And unfortunately, there are some folks that didn't make it out that provide some probably equipment liquidity. And then the ones that are like, okay, we've sort of figured it out. Let's either upgrade or add something or swap something out. Cool. Like we've got a good foundation. What do you think, Steve? Like, what are you seeing? You're the one that's, buying equipment.
So I have a theory. I have a theory that it was so easy to borrow money around COVID, right? With interest rates being so low. And so people were buying things bigger than they needed because they could afford it. And just looking at the cost and being like, oh, I can afford an equipment loan for $2,000 a month, even though my rent's $4,000 a month. Sure, why not? And so I think like they rode the COVID darling of, we can just afford this now, probably bought over their skis a little bit. And then when the economy kind of checked itself a little bit and corrected itself, they were like, oh shit, I don't think I can afford this anymore. Should I even be in screen printing? Wait, I have a bunch of debt. Maybe I should get out from this. And so I think that's the theory that I have, is it's less about like upgrading and more of like just normalizing, I think. Like you bought a car that was way too much, and now you're kind of checking yourself a little bit.
I think it's kind of always been there, to be honest with you. I mean, when I had my screen printing shop, I was purchasing used equipment in 2015. And I do think that a lot of business owners, just like you purchase, pre-owned from time to time to meet whatever your business needs. And it's kind of twofold. You have businesses that are going under. You have businesses that did borrow too much money in 2020. 100%. We're dealing with them. We're releasing liens. We're working on a full asset liquidation. At that point, you also have other shops that I have a huge shop right now that's completely flipping out of one brand and going into a completely different brand. And they're saying screen printing, and they're growing. And it's very interesting. They have over 100 employees and they're doing that. So, it's kind of like it's really to each their own. I've been asked this question so many times at Embellishr, because we've had thousands of people actually come to us for appraisals. Not everybody sells through us, and that's totally fine. But we do offer free appraisals. And in that, what we're also gaining is the knowledge of where the industry's at. What's happening? Are you trying to upgrade? Are you losing the business per se? Do you need financial relief? Are you just done? There's people that are retiring. They just want to be out of it. They want to get back into a different career, or they've grown older. But, I would say that a lot of people do think that it's people over borrowing. We've seen maybe 50% of it being that way. And the other 50% is just either I'm done or I'm upgrading. And a lot more upgrading in the last 6 months than what was the beginning of 2025, for sure.
Yeah, my fabric group, probably 7 or 8, shops, and most know these shops like Superior, Oklahoma. And what I noticed is like us 4 or 5 years ago, we were way more bullish on buying equipment. And now we've like slowed down our tune, or we like think twice about it. Because I think there's a little bit of a gun show where it's like, who's got the coolest, fanciest,
100%. There's egos involved in a lot of this.
Now it's just like, they're copy machines that print shirts. Are they working? Like, do they work? That's what Justin Moore says. Like, these are just copy machines. We just overdo it. So let's talk a little bit about like the used market. Me and Bruce have probably different theories on the used market. I like to buy my cars brand new. Bruce will buy them 2 years old. And I'm curious. And for the record, in my shop, we bought one brand new, one used. My business partner is super old school. He's like, we're paying for everything in cash, so we have no debt. So we don't have equipment loans. And he was like very, but I'm curious, is the used market just getting better? Like, are people just more comfortable with it? Is it easier to buy used? What do you think it is from your perspective?
Well, from my perspective, that was kind of why I created Embellishr, is I wanted to see a company that could support premium pre-owned equipment and have the same kind of services that a new manufacturer would have. So for us, for instance, we work with all the financiers, all the top industry financiers or your personal bank to make sure that you can finance a pre-owned package. In terms of used, I'm seeing more and more people that want to just kind of, they know that this is going to be good for longevity because a company like ours is also vetting equipment, replacing parts deemed necessary for standard operations. We're making sure that you are set up as if I'm opening my shop again tomorrow and I'm purchasing it from somebody else. I would want that equipment to work for me for the next 10 years without any issues. Of course, it's equipment. You could buy new equipment or used equipment. There's always things that come up in the kind of realm of owning capital equipment. But I would say that what we're seeing is people that are more comfortable because we've also displayed more of I want to say we've standardized the way that it should be. And that price I've heard other brokers say price is in the eye of the beholder. Absolutely not. Not at Embellishr. That's not how it works. These are fair market value prices. We work really hard to make sure that both buyers and sellers are protected. And there's, a sense of relief for sellers because we've got their back. And there's a sense of relief from buyers because we're there. We have good equipment at fair prices, and we're there to help them kind of go through any space constraints in their buildings, utility needs. We really put a lot of thought into the process of you offloading that equipment into your shop in the first place, let alone getting it installed. And then we also support it with warranties. So you're not going to get that from a seller on marketplace that is just for sale by owner. You don't even know sometimes if that stuff's under a lien and they're not even disclosing it to you. So these are all things that we work really hard to be transparent and take care of so people do feel good about their purchase and know that we're a trusted resource.
How does the warranty work?
So what we do is a multi-point inspection at Embellishr on the equipment. So we do virtual inspections and on-site inspections once everything is sold. And the warranty is basically, we always give a 60-day warranty on parts. But if we can, we also do extended warranties if you'd like to add on. So if you want a 6 months or a year, we have a service team now. We have a service department now. So we do work specifically with certain manufacturers on purpose too, because we know we have the capabilities of providing the said parts or getting our technicians the information they need out of that manufacturer to make sure you're supported with that new piece of equipment. We do not say yes to everything. Trust me, I don't say yes to every rock that comes at me, even though people probably think I do. I have to, there are pieces of equipment or shops that can run things into the ground.
Yeah, because that's always the fear that I have is like you're buying someone else's problems and you don't know what the quirks are until you really run with them. And so we can talk about the good. We can also talk about like the risk associated to it where, I was looking at something and someone's like, that year of dryer, be careful. They had a bunch of issues that year. And then I'm like, okay, oh boy. And so how do you work with someone else's problems? Because I'm sure there's a lot of cases that it goes well, but it could also go really poorly. Can you talk a little bit about that? Like maybe some of the horror stories or the battle wounds or scars?
I think in any business, we all have those scars that help us improve and make us stronger. And that's kind of how we've always tackled everything inside our company. Anytime that there's been a discrepancy or anytime that there has been, like an issue where something is down, let's say plant down, dryer's not working, our team is immediate in action and we have actual steps where clients can submit their ticket, submit their request form for support. So, that's kind of how we will handle those on a case-by-case basis. But for instance, we could get on site, have sold equipment, send our technicians in for their operational inspections to start performing disassembly and crating and get it loaded onto our insured dedicated freight trucks and realize that there's a major issue. And the great news is we actually hold all of our buyers' funds in escrow. So we're not releasing anybody's money until we've verified everything. And we have every opportunity to also stop the process, alert a buyer of XYZ if there is any sort of discrepancy that needs to be. And they have the opportunity to say, no, I don't want to move forward. Or we have the opportunity to say, absolutely not. I am not one to let things kind of go. I'm definitely one to make sure that the equipment that we're selling is going to be functional for you. But if there is anything that has come up, we have to deal with it head on. Horror stories, usually those are like freight stories. Those are, you get everything onto a great dedicated truck, you strap it down, it goes across the country, and then it shows up and they open the truck door. And well, thankfully, knock on wood, that hasn't happened. But I have heard of that happening to another broker, and their entire U-Haul was stolen at a gas station, loaded with someone else's equipment. Stolen and driven 2 states over. So we don't do any of that. We run everything on 53-foot dedicated trucks. Yeah. And apparently they're just boosting presses. It's very interesting. But yeah, I mean, for us, if you open your dock or the door of that freight truck and everything is damaged, A, that's an insurance claim right away. B, we're not going to make you have to take in that equipment unless it's just cosmetic and something we can fix. And C, I've had that happen. I've had it happen over $100,000 in equipment, and I've had to deal with it head on with insurance, getting the equipment back, inventorying it, getting the client their money back to their financier right away. And Embellishr is out that money until we basically make sure that, a claim can come through. And can we refurbish it? Can we not? We've had to total, in the 3 years that I've owned Embellishr, we've only totaled 2 pieces of equipment, both dryers.
This is incredible that I didn't understand how much background work happens at Embellishr, like within the standardized inspection, the financing option, the process to make it a lot more transparent for the buyer. Like, that's really, really cool. Are you holding this stuff? Like, where does it go? Or does the shop hold on to it while it's pending sale? Or does it?
Yeah, it kind of depends. It depends on the shop's needs. Like, let's say the shop has a real need of getting out of their warehouse coming up, that rent is just too substantial. And so we haven't sold the equipment yet. We're going to go ahead. We're going to come in. We're going to run our ops inspection. We're going to start tearing down, crating it up, getting it onto freight trucks, and moving it over to a licensed bonded warehouse, where if anything were to happen, a hurricane or an earthquake, God forbid, any of these things come through, your equipment is still under insurance. It's being held somewhere where it's in good climate control, out of environmental.
So you've got a
problems.
space that.
All over the country, we have spaces. I have a warehouse here in Reno if I need to bring extra equipment here. But most of the time, we do keep things at sellers' locations until it's sold and until we get technicians on site at their location to remove. And sometimes, currently right now, I'm pulling one in Arizona where we're moving out 2 presses simultaneously as installing 2 new pre-owned presses. So I have 2 different teams working on one that's doing full teardown, getting that all ready to go for the new buyers, and also getting installation happening at that new purchaser's location.
So if I were to call you today and say, I want to sell my equipment. I notice on your site, you sell, like there's rocks on there. I think there's some workhorse.
Oh yeah, we are official dealers for Rock and Saudi and things like that. Yes.
So if I said I wanted to sell my Sportsman, would you guys be able to sell that or no?
Hell yeah. I mean, do you have center shaft issues? Should I know anything in advance? I'm kidding.
No. I'm just saying, like, so you could sell any brand of equipment.
I don't sell Brown.
I wouldn't sell those either. The dumpster buys them, actually.
This episode is
It shouldn't. I hope it's not brought to us by Brown.
Dom almost bought a Brown piece of equipment at the trade show, and then I think he realized it was Brown and stopped. But anyways, we love everyone. So if I wanted to sell my equipment, I'd call you up. You would do an appraisal. I wouldn't call you. I would call someone else.
No, you'd go on embellishr.com. It says sell. Right on our homepage, you either click there or go to the top where it says sell and click on Get My Appraisal. The Get My Appraisal will walk you through the entire process of how our appraisal team can start working on your fair market value appraisal that we base on a 5-year tax depreciation schedule for capital equipment, along with current condition of your equipment and overall market conditions out there. So it's going to guide you through, like, we need pictures, we need serial plate pictures, we need an operational video of your equipment and dry operations for at least 1 minute of all print heads, and while simultaneously indexing, so it's going to walk you through per equipment item what we need. Some people will get on and be like, I don't see my Riley Hopkins manual press on here. How do I upload it? You can't. We're not doing manual equipment at this moment in time. We do only service automation, but we service, LTSs, CTSs, auto reclaim units, embroidery from time to time. I can't keep embroidery. Once we post an embroidery listing, it sells within 45 minutes half the time. It's always hot. So it's always looking like screen print, and we're super low on inventory right now. I mean, we sold out between December and January, and we are still selling every single day this week. So if people are looking to sell, I'm happy to help you. We are absolutely happy right now because it is a time where people are looking to upgrade and looking to get their business going. It's pretty great. So yeah, the Get My Appraisal link.
I'm actually doing it right now. It's a really, really easy form. It even asks, so you need to have some information. So you fill this out. I'm not going to hit next all the way. So then after you fill it out, what can someone expect?
You can expect to get a appraisal pack from our team within the next probably 72 hours if we're pretty slammed. And in that, what you'll get is a formal appraisal breakdown of each equipment item. You'll also get our resale pricing tiers and how that works and how it operates and what our service fee is, and a full breakdown of how it works inside Embellishr. When you come to Embellishr, you are signing a brokerage agreement with us because I'm not in the business of having our team go out, try and market, highlight your equipment, talk to buyers about their space constraints and their electrical and all of the things for you to then call and be like, sold it myself, had somebody else sell it, this and that. We don't like anybody undermining the sales process. We're here to provide you a full service. Well, all you have to do is roll up your dock doors and we're going to come in and tear it down once it's sold. So, that's really what you can expect, is to get that appraisal back within like a couple days, hopefully the next day. And then from there, it's you sign on to the appraisal or to the brokerage agreement. Our team would let you know if there's anything extra that we need for your listing. And then we're on to listing and on to marketing it strategically through all of our different platforms and our e-blasts.
Gotcha. So it's sort of like, like getting a realtor, right? And I guess what you're saying is, if you are going to if someone's going to work with you, you don't want them to come to you and then go try to do it on, like, it's kind of like, hey, we're going to figure this out together. So, and there's no like guarantee that you'll sell the equipment, right?
I can't guarantee anything. We're going to be upfront with you. We have a 90-day, I would say, time frame that we work in with resale of equipment. We kind of give you a breakdown of how it works within the first 30 days, the next 15, the next 15. And so you see that through your appraisal pack. We do put a lot of effort and time into that. And our team does have a lot of, we're on constant deadlines and project management of how to make sure that you're meeting your tiers, your pricing tiers as needed.
So let's just say I went through, selling my Sportsman and my Sprint 3000 dryer because I'm going all in on DTF, and you come back to me and you're like, hey, I think we can get you 60 grand for all of this. And I'm like, Nikki, I can put this on Facebook Marketplace and get 100 out of it. You are crazy. Talk me through what's next. Like, how do you respond to something like that?
Actually, those are the responses I used to get. I would say in the very beginning of Embellishr. I don't really see those kind of responses anymore. I see if someone doesn't like the appraisal, we probably don't hear from them again. That's okay. It's a free service that we do offer. We also offer, if somebody says, hey, you know what, this is just too much for me and I'm really stuck in this lien and I'm not going to be able to do all of this, that's okay too. Here's how we would guide you to go sell it yourself. I'm trying to make sure that people aren't out there going, you know what? I know that it's only worth 60 grand, but I feel like it's 100 grand. So I'm just going to go overcharge somebody else for my bullshit. I can't stand that. That's the same thing as if you're selling your house. Your house, we all think our homes are worth probably more than what they are, but then a realtor comes in and is like, hey, let's do the inspections. Hey, here's what you're really looking at. Here's what the comps are. And so the reality is those people end up back in our inbox within 90 days or less going, hey, I tried selling it myself. But I've noticed that you guys keep selling and I see the sale pending. So I'm going to go ahead and sign the brokerage agreement. Or we'll just get a random signed brokerage agreement months later from these appraisal packs. And we're like, oh, random person just signed. Okay, great. Like, thank you. Let's start over. I don't really take offense. I think people are always going to want to sell themselves to a certain degree. We're dealing with a bunch of screen printers that are like, I get my own freight trucks. I already deal with them all. I know how it is. We're just trying to make it easier so you can focus on your business. This is our business. We do it really well. We've done it for hundreds of clients, and they're pretty satisfied, I would say. So,
because I think like even if I were to sell it by myself, now I have to figure out who's going to tear this thing down, who's going to crate it, who's going to move it, who's going to.
Hey, Steven, so is this single phase? Is it 3-phase? How much BTU do I have coming to this dryer? I only got about 5 inches to the wall on the left side. Trust me, the amount of discovery that happens. The
flakiness
of buyers
is huge.
Would be, someone's coming from out of state. Oh, I can't. I was
going to go with you guys, but someone just told me they're going to give me X. I'm going to hold off for this deal. No problem. Hey, that person never showed up, never came. Can you guys just sell those for me? So I think in the end, it's not us trying to wear anybody down. It's just us trying to actually build the most robust service possible that you really don't want to say no to it because it's just a lot.
Do you know any comps for like appraisals? Like say I bought a press, is there a percentage you guys go off of? You said you kind of look at depreciation, different things, but like obviously when you take a car off the lot, it depreciates instantly, right? Is if you could get like 50% back, what's a target that you try to get for a gently used 5-6-year-old press that someone bought?
Target wise, I think everything is different. I'm looking at your impression count. It's every model is different. Every year the manufacturer is different. Every HMI they've used is different, whether it's toggle switches or not. So it's really hard for me to just give you an overall percentage. But yeah, I would say that, at that 5-year mark, you should be looking at hopefully that 50% mark back. And at that 5-year mark, if that piece of equipment hasn't helped you make double at that point of what that costs you, then you probably weren't doing business right in the first place and have been running it in the red for quite some time. A lot of when we were talking about people see their house as something that's really substantially higher than what maybe a realtor might say, hey, this is worth. The reality is you still used it for a certain amount of time. You still got ROI out of that piece of product. So it's something that, from time to time, I guess I need to explain. And when I do explain it that way, it's like, oh, you know what, you're right. I did make about 500,000 last year and about 200,000 year before that. And then they start calculating it up. They're like, yeah, that dryer should probably only be worth about $20,000. Yeah, you're probably right. I did get my time out of it. It's like, it's not even like me trying to convince you. It's just, this is what it's worth. And so, what happens with newer equipment, I would say, is that's the biggest catch-22 is when someone buys something from Embellishr, Rock, or wherever, and it's a year old and they need to get out of it. And for whatever reason, or they don't like it, or who knows. The biggest problem there is that it doesn't depreciate enough. So it's a catch-22 for you because you're probably going to lose on the actual resale value of that unit in order to get it out of your shop, especially if you're under a lien. If you're under a lien, now you're under this massive interest and now it's a year old. Nobody's going to pay for a 1-year-old press when they could go get a brand new one for maybe a few $1,000s more at that rate that comes with a 3-year warranty over XYZ. So that's where, it becomes all of a sudden, you're competing with MSRP of brand new equipment. So that's really more of us being, supportive of the seller and like, here's the reality. Here's the landscape of what we're looking at. Do you want to do this? Because it could sit on the market like this for a long time, a lot longer than what we would like. But some sellers, this is what they want to do. And because that's the value, we agree to that. However, there's a certain time frame we'll let them know too, like, hey, it's just not going to sell at this rate. And you're also starting to kind of garner lowball offers, because when people see equipment too long, then they're like, something's wrong with that. You know what? I'll call and I'll just give them, I know they're saying 50,000. I'll take it today, 20,000 shipped and installed. So yeah, there's a catch-22 in new equipment for sure. If you're looking to sell and retain some asset value, if you have something that's 3, 4, 5 years old, that's a really good marking point. If it's 10 years old, you're not going to get the same return on it because there's potentially parts that are obsolete. Potentially there's issues. There's certain brands that we have to cut off at certain years that we will not represent past 2010 or 2014, just depending on that brand, knowing what their availability is for parts.
It sounds like you've got a lot of volume going through Embellishr now, but what was it like getting this thing started? Like you said, it's 3 years ago or so it's fairly new, but it's picked up a lot of steam. It seems like there's a bit of a chicken or egg thing too, right? Like, kind of get the equipment or get the buyers, then find the equipment that the buyers want, and then this website, like Steven said, is really great. This looks like something custom. And then I'm assuming there's like a whole crazy process that you've had to build with all this stuff behind the scenes. What was the first, 6 months like?
Oh gosh, that was the wild, wild west for me. The first 6 months was my husband telling me, honey, if you think you can do this, then go make it happen. Go do it. I've got everything in the background. My husband was a software engineer. You would think that he built that website. I built that website. So I'm not a software engineer. I'm a trained art historian. So, but, with his help a little bit here and there, I will give him that. But, the first 6 months was really just a learning process. That's also when I had my first $100,000 freight truck show up with a nightmare load and was like, wow, am I cut out for this? And I have cut my teeth on every single order, because that's the only way to keep going and to scale. So the first 6 months was chaotic.
What was the nightmare order like? What was the nightmare box?
It was a Rock Next XL. It was like 12 colors. It had a compressor, chiller, dryer.
She remembers it like it was yesterday.
Oh my goodness. And I remember getting the phone calls. I'm West Coast time. I'm getting phone calls at 5:00 in the morning. Freight truck has shown up. It's shown up on the East Coast and it is damaged. And so that was definitely, a moment in time where I was like, can I do this? Can people believe in me too? I've been in screen printing and been screen printing since I was 20 years old, but moving equipment, this is something a little bit newer for me. Not when I had my shop, I was offloading freight trucks all the time. My Challenger 2, Challenger 3, Gauntlet 3, whatever it was that I was purchasing. I love it. I'm a forklift certified operator. I love getting my hands dirty.
Steven, are you forklift certified?
No.
Yeah, well, of course you're not. Most business owners aren't, but they will definitely drive a forklift.
There's a picture of me crashing one. Yeah, that my team has on camera.
I've got some pictures. I don't know if I'll show people these pictures, but I've got some pictures of my time in my shop.
Dropped a few pallets in my day.
Oh, I dropped an entire Ingersoll Rand compressor, 125 gallon tank on its side. Not owning Embellishr. That was just me at my own shop. That sounded like a bomb going off in my shop, and I was offloading a brand new one. It was $25,000. I remember that like it was yesterday. The first 6 months was, okay, this is a need. people are telling me this is a need and like, oh my gosh, there's someone like you that exists. That's great. I really need your help. Oh my gosh, I was looking for a press like this and I was on the phone with this manufacturer and it was way too much for us. This is perfect. And so it was kind of like this matchmaking service almost to start, where I was just matching people together. And then I realized, okay, I need to get some more services behind this. So, when it comes to like a teardown, we have a 36-step process to just tear down equipment. All of our technicians are on a third-party software. They log into an app right away when they get onto a job site. We can see them there. They start uploading pictures of the equipment. They're going through a very strict process of every single cylinder, air nozzle, to anything on that particular piece of equipment that we've built out operational inspections for. So there's just a lot that over the last few years that I've had to continuously improve and just figure out. Yeah.
Here's so you can see.
That's you know what?
I missed. I didn't stick the landing, but they were only t-shirts.
You slightly missed. I mean, you're just a little bit off.
For the audio listeners, you just have to go to YouTube and.
Yeah, this was a funny one. Everyone gave me shit for it for a minute. This is really, really interesting. And I think something that I think about is like the price that I bought new equipment for in 2018. Presses have appreciated so much that if I were to go buy the same press, let's just say I bought a press in 2017 for $50,000. That press now is like $80,000 or $90,000. So you can actually get pretty good. Is that crazy? Am I on with that? That's about right.
Yeah, I wouldn't do that. That would be more of like a prices in the eye of the beholder kind of way. If I did that as a brokerage, I don't go off that. I would go off of what you paid for in 2018, because in 2018 it's worth a certain amount. Today there is new software, there's new metal, there's new everything that these manufacturers have had to use, had to change and transfer over to. So a lot of people would love for me to be like, oh, well, sure, let me just use today's market price for something that's 10 years old, but that's not fair to a buyer either. It's just not the way that we function. So the price doesn't just go up because the manufacturer has created something or has adjusted their pricing. It's more of just you have a piece of equipment that's probably a really good piece of equipment. These manufacturers also built things for longevity. So, a lot of shops, they're good for 10 years plus. And you're starting probably to see a lot more resurgence. When we were talking about used equipment earlier, kind of joggled my mind, because you're seeing the fact that rock has only been in the United States since 2010. So you're starting to see more and more rock, used on that market place. And then Anatol, same thing. They haven't been around too long. Workhorse has had a huge changeover to Lawson. So you're seeing these kind of shifts in the market today too, where it wouldn't have been so prevalent 10 years ago. 10 years ago, the used market was owned by the big blue. All M&Rs, if you want to get into something used, you're going to find something from M&R. Now there's much more of a level playing field and neutrality to what we can provide there.
Nikki, what's this year look like? Just like separately from Embellishr, but just you as an owner of this business, what does this year look like? Like where are you trying to level up?
I'm trying to scale this year. We've grown year over year for the last 3 years, and we've now added a service department. We're taking that very seriously. And so I see a twofold thing. I see potential acquisitions for Embellishr. I also see, we are going to be starting to work on the intangible and tangible assets of the book of business and wrapping up books of business. That's what I see this year. A lot more acquisitions are happening in the industry between big players, and they are coming to us to headhunt for them, certain shops to purchase, to buy out. And so we are looking at creating a real kind of full-fledged acquisition service, also to support people who are trying to get out of everything, their employees, their...
Oh, so like allowing like Embellishr not for just for their equipment, but also for their business.
Buy my shop, like biz, buy, sell.
I mean, it's interesting because that happens. I'll get maybe a text a month almost of him either looking to sell or I'm looking to buy, and I'm just trying to connect people. So that would be cool to point them to
Yeah. And so, with my background, I was in real estate for a hot minute in 2020. And that really helped me kind of gain a lot of foundational knowledge, I would say, for how to appropriately and properly provide both buyers and sellers what they need. And so, with that kind of background experience, I want to transition that into helping the businesses with that as well. It just kind of feels like a natural progression for where we're at today and for the amount of business owners that we are dealing with. And so, yeah, I would say that we're also doing a ton in automation in the background at Embellishr. So it's not such a manual process for my internal team. So, yeah, we've been working on kind of Kaizen methodology inside Embellishr and just simplifying everything so we can get to a point where scaling is easy.
Do you think you'll ever get into the DTF world?
I don't. I think that maybe somebody else will. I've been asked that a ton of times. To be totally frank with you, the way the DTF world works is so rapid as well as being so finicky that it's hard for us to put our name on it with integrity back to a buyer. So, a lot of this stuff is coming out of 1 or 2, 3 manufacturers in China, but the overall support here in the States is still not meeting the needs of what my company would need to support your product on the pre-owned side. And so, no, it's not a good service for me to put our name on it and say, hey, this is going to work for you and everything's going to go great, because I've owned DTGs and I've returned DTGs. Like and I'm not trying to say like DTGs are bad. It's just that I also know that there's nozzle clogs, there's head strikes, there's a lot of other minutia that goes on when someone maybe isn't as savvy on that digital side. So for us right now, unless I were to somehow become partners with Brother or Mamaki, and trust me, I've talked to all of them. They want us to be dealers, and I think that that's great. But I think we also have a certain niche in the industry, and I'm really wanting to make sure I maintain that and maintain the integrity of products.
It's fair. It's fluctuating too quick.
Yeah.
You'd be left sitting with a bunch of equipment that'd be outdated pretty fast.
I could be, there's definitely equipment out there that is just sitting in containers that people have already, said this is scrap metal, and that comes from all of it. It comes from any manufacturer too. But just the DTF world, the DTG world, I've been approached for a lot of Corneets for resale. I've been approached by Corneet to work with them for resale. And working with the manufacturer is a little bit different. I'm a little bit more open to that when they're open, but also I struggle when the manufacturer themselves isn't very confident in their product. And I'm not saying Corneet isn't. For the record, sorry.
Have you seen this, Nikki? At Long Beach, did you see these guys?
No.
Oh, this was hilarious.
I wonder if they stopped at our booth. I don't know. I was at our booth, but I had 2 other people working it too. That is hilarious. I totally approve of that shirt. I think it's a great method of marketing it. But yeah, it's not something that I can help. And on the resale side, those things are going for, 6 figures, 200 plus. That's a problem when a buyer calls us and is like, something is wrong. And they don't blame the manufacturer. That's the other thing. People aren't tagging Embellishr. I got an Embellishr press. This is amazing. They're tagging the manufacturer. The manufacturer is resharing. And half the time I'm like, well, that just came from us, but okay. But the same thing kind of goes with DTG and DTF. I don't know that I want them to tag us in those kind of products, because I don't know how to support them all.
How do you deal with the keyboard warriors that have bad experiences? Because screen printers are unemployable. That's why we're screen printers, and we get hot and bothered really quick and mad about shit, and then we take it to Facebook, and then we get into
she doesn't know how to screen print. Man, the amount of guys that think I can't screen print is hilarious to me. There was some huge keyboard warrior thing about me 6 months ago on Facebook, that this girl doesn't know how to screen print. I would never buy something from her. people that don't know me, but also F you, like in the end, I posted a video of me on screen printing. Like, do I need to do this stuff? Absolutely not. I've been in this industry for a damn long time. If you know me, you know me. If you don't, oh well, or get to know me. But I don't think that demeaning each other is ever a good thing. I've only engaged one time, and I've just kind of said my piece on factual of what we do at Embellishr. And then I just got ridiculed and reamed by the same people over and over. And it's usually the same couple trolls, So
also, when you see people in person too, the tone is very different.
They do not know how to handle themselves in person.
People in person are insane at the shows.
I mean, well, I was gonna say too, like the people that I've seen that have said like not great things online or were nice, and like I wouldn't have put those two and two together. But
yeah, behind a keyboard, everyone can hide.
They can. I'm grateful for all of our clients that are also behind keyboards that also give us great testimonials or go on Google reviews and say, I had an amazing experience with Embellishr, or just write us a thank you. Write me a thank you for my team. That's something that is huge. It's not about Nicole. And I think that that's where I want to separate Embellishr from Nicole. Obviously there's a face and name to everybody's business, and we are each other's faces to our businesses. But I have a team behind me that works really hard to make sure that this equipment gets shipped and gets created right and gets, installed right. And so it means a lot when people are like, man, your team is killing it. Man, I had a great experience with you guys. This last ISS was so pivotal for me. Not only did I turn 40 on the trade show floor, but also, what a way to celebrate every year at my birthday there. But I had so many customers that are past or current that came up and they're like, man, I bought something from you. Man, I sold from you guys. And I had such a great experience. Thank you so much. I've now gotten into DTF, or I'm just embroidery, or now I've expanded to XYZ. And I haven't experienced a show where we're exhibiting that we had so many customers coming up to us. So it was finally like, wow, like the brand recognition is out there and the voices are out there. So I just feel a really positive synergy and momentum. And so those keyboard warriors can, I don't care.
Yeah. It's cool when you've built a reputation and you're just the go-to. Like if anyone were to ask me, like, hey, how should I sell my equipment? It's like, yeah, just email them. Like Nikki will take care of you. I mean, I've never sold equipment for you, but that's a reputation. And there's other good resellers out there. There's a couple. There's not very many. But I think it's when you're thinking about reselling or buying equipment, there's so much more that goes into it. And to be able to have like the full package is probably the most important thing and advice that I'd give to shops. Like you don't know what happens when you tear down a press, move it across the country, try to put it back together, calibrate it, all that shit. It's nuts. So exciting to finally get you on here. This is really, really cool. If shops are interested, want to learn more, what's the best way? Maybe they're not ready to buy or sell now. How do they keep in touch?
Go to embellishr.com. It's EMBELLISHR.com. Could not afford the ER. But also go to Embellishr on Instagram. I'm going to be launching a YouTube series soon, just kind of out there, just trying to help shops where I can. I manage and owned a very large contract screen printing shop with 150 employees. And so kind of part of my passion is also helping shops with where they're at. Payroll COGS was huge for me. Running operations was kind of a passion of mine, along with I'm a weirdo. I'm an art person, but I like fighter jets and I love shipping containers and container ships. And then I like production, and so anything that I can do to help. But yeah, if you come to embellishr.com, explore. We also have other podcasts that we've been on or talks that we've done at trade shows about scaling your business and running your COGS. So, however you find us, hopefully you find us and you find us to be a valuable resource for you.
Heck yeah. Thank you so much, Nikki. At Embellishr, you guys can check it out. Print hustlers, we appreciate you guys, as always, joining us for another episode. Have a great week. Thanks so much for listening. Hopefully that was informative. Don't forget to subscribe. Don't forget to like. Don't forget to hit the bell for notifications if you enjoyed this video. If you enjoy all the stuff we're putting out, it's really helpful. We love to just be able to see it. That means that we're doing a good job. To subscribe, hit the bell for notifications, and hit the like button. And I'll see you in the next episode. Bye.